Good morning. CATL is a Chinese company, and they are the world's largest producer of batteries for electric vehicles. They're a huge supplier in the global markets as well as in China's. They're a key producer of batteries for basically every automaker, including Tesla, Volkswagen, Toyota. Other key buyers are here. Stellantis is a US company. There's VW. Bayerische is Bavarian Motor Works, or BMW. Then Nissan, Honda, Volvo. It's noteworthy that Tesla relies heavily on batteries from CATL. Tesla is working on a low-cost model for the US market with retail pricing under $25,000. To build a car at that price means they must get the battery cost down. And Tesla is working with CATL in Nevada to expand battery production there, which will go into US-built Tesla vehicles. Those batteries will be similar to the ones CATL builds for BMW, Mercedes, and NIO, using their product lines for lithium iron phosphate batteries. But there are congressmen who want to put CATL on the blacklist in this year's National Defense Authorization Act. They wrote a letter to Lloyd, the U.S. Defense Secretary, to put CATL on the Section 1260H list, which would effectively ban CATL products for sale in the United States to anyone doing business with the federal government. Here is a tweet from Marco Rubio and the press release from his office with a copy of the letter to the Defense Secretary that we'll link to so you can read it for yourself. National security reasons, which is why they want to put it into the NDAA. If Austin goes along and the blacklisting of CATL goes through, the laws of unintended consequences are going to kick in. For example, it's unclear what effect this is going to have on the supply chain for batteries in all these vehicles. Tesla and SpaceX are major vendors to the United States government, and so if Secretary Austin puts CATL on their blacklist for the NDAA, what does that mean for Tesla's expansion plans in Nevada and for their hopes to introduce a low-cost EV for the US market? It's also hard to say what this will mean for our allies. Here's the export shipments for CATL by country. Almost half of CATL's exports go to the United States. Germany takes over a fourth for their cars. The Netherlands and Poland also account for a lot of CATL's exports. So under the semiconductor export bans, we've seen how companies in friendly countries like Japan and Korea and the Netherlands are losing billions of dollars because of our sanctions that prohibit the sale of their products to China. Now this is kind of flipped around, and this will be an import ban. Would an import ban on CATL be extended to cars being sold in the US market by Germany, for example? Or perhaps even if they're intended for sale in the European Union market, but for those European companies that have factories and sales in the United States? How does it affect them? The letter to the Defense Secretary was signed by two congressmen, Senator Rubio of Florida and Representative John Molinar, who's in the House, representing Michigan. What's weird here is that Ford Motor is partnering with CATL in Michigan to expand production there. Their factory in Marshall is west of Detroit, will cost $3.5 billion, and will create 2,500 Michigan jobs. Ford is building their Model E, which is a small model that is much less expensive than the typical internal combustion engine vehicle. So Tesla is using CATL in Nevada, and now Ford in Michigan, and so it's surprising that a Michigan congressman wants to shut CATL out of the US market. General Motors a few months ago was critical of Ford for their partnership with CATL, but now they're strongly considering doing the same so they can build EVs for the mass market, and they need low-cost batteries in order to make it work. These are strange times then, when we've got Ford and General Motors looking to hire thousands of people to build hundreds of thousands of cars, and one of Michigan's reps in Congress is writing to the Defense Secretary to kill the deals. Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, Nissan, the others, they all have factories in the United States too. How is this going to affect their business if they're working with CATL in other markets? Nobody knows, but if I had to guess, we're going to break everything first, then we'll realize later we've done something that puts our own companies out of business instead of China's. That's how things are going down for semiconductors. So thinking this through, CATL batteries are the world's lowest cost batteries. And battery cost is the most important cost driver for electric vehicles. And if CATL batteries aren't allowed to work with our companies anymore, that means the only companies that can build inexpensive cars will be Chinese ones. They'll have the market for the whole world. If CATL is banned from working with US factories and with European companies that do business in the US, that would be a big problem for CATL in the short term, no doubt. But it would be a huge benefit to BYD and NIO and Zeekr and the other Chinese car makers, because they're the only ones on the planet who will be able to build affordable cars. This is Tianmen Mountain, Hunan Province. Be good.
Love your enemies. Do unto others as you want others to do for you. Store up for yourself treasure in heaven. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. No man